Alright guys, we're going to get started here. I'm working on a 1980 K5 Blazer with an LS swap. I'm going to go ahead and put on the idler pulley and the front belt. I'll wind up changing that belt out when I do the vintage air setup. It's got a compressor and bracket that's going to mount over here to the side up top, and it will require a longer belt, and I'll get that later on, but for now I just want to put my factory belt on, check the alignment of all my pulleys, make sure everything looks good, and kind of go from there. I'm going to do that. We're going to put on the dipstick, the oil dipstick and the transmission dipstick, get those stuck on there. Also, I'll be doing a video. It'll be a standalone video for the power steering lines and hooking those up with the LS motor and LS power steering pump over into the actual 1980 K5 style steering gearbox. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started. We'll get this pulley on here and take it from there. With anything that I use my impact for, I'll come back along later and torque or retighten everything just to double check. More or less for time constraints. I'll run through it quick on video and then come back later and double check everything when I'm finished with the video. So you want to start this by hand first. You don't want to just go to running it on there with the impact in case you mess it up. So when they're good and tight, spins good and free. Come over here and we'll get the oil stick. Will be next. You got an O-ring on here, guys. You want to make sure that that O-ring is good. It's not coming apart. You don't want oil blowing out of your motor. That's lubricated a little bit. You want to put a little WD-40 or something on it before you put it inside the motor. And you're going to twist it a little bit just to make sure it goes all the way in there. I've got some tape here. Get it peeled back out of the way. Just enough to clear what I'm doing. Alright. A little more. Bend that up there just a little bit. Get it where it needs to be. Grab my impact again. Good and tight, good and snug. Go ahead and slide that in. Alright guys, on this here, on the transmission filler neck, or I mean a filler tube, you want to make sure your gasket down low is in there. I think it's actually like a seal. You want to make sure that that's good to go. Pull your stick out just a little bit so that it's not down here, it doesn't get bound up or nothing on anything. And I've actually got a piece of paper towel stuck in mine down here. Let me grab some WD-40. Same thing with this, guys. You want to make sure there's a little bit of lube on there, a little bit of something so it'll slide on in there without tearing that seal. You don't want to be pushing transmission fluid out when you get going with all this stuff. This hook on the back, I know you can't see it on the video. I'll pull it out right quick. This is actually going to go to one of the bolts on the transmission. And then there'll be a nut on the back of it to secure it. I don't have that nut. I brought one with me, but it's not the right size. Apparently it was one of the other ones laying on my table at home. And so I'm going to stick this up here for now, but I will come back. I'll definitely make note that that needs the nut on the back of it. Same thing with it, guys. You're going to kind of work it in. Try to get it pushed down in there. whole lot of room to work here. Again, kind of the reason you spray it down with WD-40. Go ahead and pull this up just a little bit. Alright. That's in there, and it's sitting on the back of this nut or bolt back here. So I'll come back along later on and I'll put my nut on the back of it. So that's on there, and it actually got good clearance with everything right here. I may can bend it forward just a hair to give me a little more room off of my firewall in case my motor's turning a little bit. I don't want that bumping into my firewall and making a bunch of racket. So, but all in all, it looks good on there. So we'll go ahead and get this belt and stick it on there now. Hopefully this will be a piece of cake. Get my tools here. Alright, ran the crank first. It's been a while since I've had to do one of these. Make sure I still remember. Get out of the way. Alright, round the crank, round the power steering, over the top of the alternator, under that one. Yeah. That's not right. Let's try. Bear with me here, guys. I didn't look at my diagram before I decided to do this. I think we're going about it the right way now. This is the wrong belt. A bunch of crap. Straight over that and around that. There we go. I got you now. I got you now, you booger. Alright. I think. Let me see. Yep, here we go. Alright. Everything's in the grooves. I'll take and twist this and stick it on the alternator. Alright. Something simple as that, guys. You know, if you take one of these off, of course I've started from nothing here, but if you take a belt off, draw it out how it goes around these pulleys and stuff so that you can get it back on with ease. It took me a minute there, but it's on there so far. Looking at everything from the side, it all looks good. It looks like it is lined up really good. I'm really happy with how that's turned out. Again, later on, I'll get that vintage air setup mounted on the side, and I'll have to get a longer belt that comes on out here to grab that air conditioner compressor pulley. So, but that looks good. We'll cut it at that, and we'll come back and we'll do the power steering lines, and so we'll take it from there. Have a good one.